Welcome back to Runabout Revival. In this episode, join us as we endeavor to increase the ignition precision and revolutionize our engine's timing accuracy to elevate the performance and reliability of our MR2 ignition system. Today's spotlight shines on two crucial upgrades: a state-of-the-art Coil-on-Plug kit from Platinum Race Parts and a Hall sensor pickup device from Racer X Fabrications. These precision tuning enhancements are the key to unlocking a new level of reliability and responsiveness in our engine. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. This is Runabout Revival.
Well, it's another weekend, and it's actually not miserably hot outside finally, so this is fun. Let's get caught up. As you can see here, got a fun box of new toys from Racer X Fabrication. These guys have the coolest packaging in the game, I'd say, complete with the sticker there. So in here we have a couple things. First, I mentioned that we're going to switch over from the system that we have currently to a Coil-on-Plug system for the ignition, and so this is part of that. I actually opted to go with two different brands for this upgrade, using Platinum Motorsports bracket, the GTR Coil-on-Plugs, their wiring loom, and basically that whole kit for the top end, and then for the bottom end to add essentially a crank and cam position sensor for the AEM. I've gone with Racer X's kit. So here is the ring. Beneath it, more fun hardware there. This is the adapter ring that goes onto the crank pulley to mount this ring. This is the bracket for the Hall sensor, and then some various hardware back there. More billet fun stuff. I've went ahead and removed, as you can see here, the plug wires. I need to still remove the distributor, but I was waiting for the parts to show up. We're going to be taking this cover off, I believe. I'm not sure if we need to or not. We're going to see once the platinum piece gets here, which is still a week out from Australia. We might have to remove the valve cover in order to put that on there, but I'm not sure yet. So just have it removed down to this point for now, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the distributor now that I have the cam trigger cover that comes from Racer X. We also got, this is I believe the cam trigger piece. Let's see. I haven't actually opened these yet. Aha, yes, another billet piece. Looking very nice. This is the cam trigger and has a spot for the Hall sensor right there. This is going to replace where the distributor is now. And as always, under here, I'm sure there's, hardware below. It even says on the foam. There's probably more stuff down there. We'll get to that when we get to it. But for now, I'm putting it back in the box so I don't make it less pretty. Down here, we have some hardware, which you might recognize here. Oh, and here's the Hall sensors. There's two. One for the crank, one for the cam. And here is the other part of this order. And this one is smaller than I imagined, but plenty big enough. A very nice catch can. This is built specifically for the MR2. Can rotate the top piece to move where the inlet comes in, as well as the outlet. And it's got a nice little window to show you the level, so you know when you need to empty it. It even has a check valve on the bottom, so you can actually empty it without having to remove it like those cheap, shitty ones. It's expensive, but it's nice. And since I already have a bunch of Racer X stuff in here, I think it'll fit nicely with the rest of the stuff. As part of that installation, and this is the part where I might, again, have to remove the valve cover. Probably will have to. I have to remove this and replace it with that AN fitting. I'm going to run that AN angle into a pipe that's going to go into the catch can, which is going to be mounted over here somewhere. And that's going to turn, and then output is going to go into the intake there. So that's coming up. Also, so as I said, I went a little bit ham on the Black Friday sales, and man, that was a good one. I don't even know how much % off on the Racer X stuff. They only had 5 kits available. I think I logged on right at 6 o'clock in the morning out here, Arizona time, to catch the beginning of that sale. Thank goodness for that. And then the Platinum one was also significantly discounted. I started doing wiring, finally. I've been doing a lot of planning and ordering of these connectors. I think I have all the connectors I need. I realized I actually got the wrong style of injector connector, so I went ahead and reordered those. Those are on the way. And then the last other connector that I didn't have yet was this for the narrowband O2 sensor. Just got that on the way as well. I started doing wiring, starting with the MAP sensor here. These you strip and then pull back after you put the crimp on there. Pull back into the fitting. So I just started doing that. Here's the old one. You can see I'm using the same colors as much as possible, red, yellow, and green. Just gonna start recording there. My plan is to run about 10 feet of cable. The one I'm gonna start with here, this is about the longest from where I'm running it to. This is gonna be the longest cable set that I run. These two are gonna be the same length actually. So we got a little extra here. So these two sets are going to be from the connector, and there's really no connector on this one. These go to the spall fan on the side mount intercooler. I'm gonna actually use a different connector here than these. This cable and this cable are gonna be the longest set because they curve all the way around here and then they come back into the firewall. So those are gonna be my longest set of cables. I'm gonna set those at 10 feet, which is definitely overkill. But that's going to enable me to take the wiring from up here where that starts, down here under the intake manifold, route it up into the hole there that goes into the cabin. And I've also ordered I'm going to start with ABS plastic, 1/4 inch, to build my mount for the fuse box and the AEM standalone. I have that on its way as well. Probably have to get a bandsaw to cut that. I don't have a bandsaw currently. I'm going to just go to Harbor Freight and grab that one that they probably have on sale right now between Black Friday and Christmas for like 70 bucks. It should be enough to cut plastic. That should work there. I'm going to cut those panels down to size to fit them into that compartment behind the driver's seat. I'll probably set up a camera here to start doing more wiring, but again, I have to wait on this other plug here. So I'm going to start with some of the other ones that I know. For example, these are the coolant neck, coolant tree. I do have all of these, so I'll start with those, maybe make that part first. And then I'll just basically have each connector set of wires run from the connector into a free ends. And then once I have those all assembled, loom together. Actually, I've been looking online at best ways to do that since there's a couple breaks in this. Different lengths and different spots where they bunch together to best loom. So I've been looking, and basically I'm thinking about setting up a piece of plywood with these little plastic U connectors where you can kind of snap the wires down into the U connectors to hold them, and then label which connector goes where, so I can kind of run that through, electrical tape them, and then loom that whole wiring harness. And it's going to be a loom that comes right down all the wires that are going to be dead-ended from this. These are mostly, I think, going to go to fuse box and the Molex. And these are also going to go towards the fuse box and also the AEM for that wiring set. I'm kind of going sensor by sensor with what I need, starting again with the Hux Racing setup. And we'll use that information that Eric Hux has been awesome enough to lay out for us to walk through that wiring harness in a similar sense to how we did the last one. Of course, I have all of my paperwork here for all the stuff that I've got in terms of my layout for the wiring harness there. And then I'm also going to integrate the fan harness for the shroud, carbon fiber shroud with the fans in it for the engine cover. So I just record this whole spiel and then realize that I wasn't recording at all. So let's do this again. Another update on these gauges here. I bought these for the original AEM Series 2, so they're old. This is the AFR, the air fuel ratio, aka the wideband sensor, the UEGO. This connects to the older Lambda 4.2, which still will work in conjunction with my Infinity standalone. However, there are newer ones on the market. Since this one is going to have the same power connectors on the back, I'll probably just put this one in for now, and then if I need to, I can update it later with the new Lambda 4.9 sensor that goes in the same bung, and then new gauge. I do also have to run new wires from the wideband back to the gauge, which is going to be a pain in the ass, but done it once, I'll do it again. This is the older serial gauge, which unfortunately will not work with the new Infinity AEM because there is no serial port on the AEM. This used to cycle through literally a bunch of different things, so you could see temperatures and pressures across the width of sensors that we had in the car, EGT, boost, all those things. And that's what this serial cable is hanging off the back of the car for a couple months now. This is a serial 232 COM connector, like an old computer. The new Infinity doesn't really use that. No place for that. So I'm gonna have to figure out a new solution for this gauge. They don't really do these all-in-ones anymore. They're kind of pushing the dash units. I don't want to get a dash. I want to keep it semi-factory looking. And also that's another $1,000 plus I don't want to spend. So if you guys have any suggestions for a better gauge to put next to the wideband here on the left, please do let me know. Otherwise I'll probably just make this an AM boost gauge. I think I showed this, but just in case I didn't. This is the kind of final product here of the leather cover. I'm hanging it from my garage rail here just to avoid using any more space. But as you can see, it's pretty much done except for the bottom here. This part is where the rear center console goes, and I don't have one. Also, my glue stain, I still got to clean up there. I don't have that center console because the harness bar would run right through it. So I had to remove that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. Thought about putting some kind of mounting plate for my iPhone or something like that back there. Something to cover up that kind of open spot there. My glue exploded. You can't tell here, but it's stuck and it's hard as a rock now. So they do sell this in 4 1-ounce tubes instead of 1 4-ounce tube. I should have gotten that because then it would have avoided this problem. The only reason I didn't get it last time is because they were out of stock, so I grabbed this one. But going forward, I would highly suggest, if you're going to get this contact adhesive from Gorilla, get the smaller tubes, not the big one, so that you don't have this problem as well. Luckily, it was on a paper towel, so it stuck. It was a big gloop like this. It stuck to the paper towels and not this. So I just threw that out, and then unfortunately there was a little bit more dripping out, and it's now stuck to the paper towels. As you can see, yeah, it's pretty much done here. I even have the spots for the bolts to go through here, the screws that mount it. So looking pretty good. And of course the shift boot here is also done. And again, since I didn't record this actually, there's the carbon fiber shift knob. It's weighted, real nice feel to it. That's going to go on top. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to maybe set up the camera and start putting together more of these connectors, and we'll go from there. I think that's it for now until I get that Platinum Motorsports box that's coming in about a week. They had, I guess, 35 or 2,500 orders on their Black Friday, which is, you know, they're in Australia, so they're just basically catering to us Americans. Big sale, end of the year sale for them. They actually had to hire more staff to get the orders out. And of course, I accidentally screwed up my order, so I ordered most of the kit I wanted. I was like, wow, it's really cheap. Yeah, it's because I didn't include the last part. So I had to send them an email and be like, hey, can you add that other part on and just charge me whatever the difference is? And to sweeten the pot, I ordered one more part from them as well. The only other part that they really make for 3S GTE. So more to come on that, but it's about a week out. I emailed them a week after the sale after I purchased, and I said, hey, I haven't got a tracking number yet. And they're like, we're swamped. Sorry, here it is. So, and it's coming in about another week via DHL. So more to come on that.